When the only constant in life is change, you need to be ready. This is the Man-Made Survival Show.
Hi everybody, my name is Jose Prado, Man-Made Survival, and thank you so much for coming back to the channel. Please share this information because I do believe this information is very, very important, especially what I'm going to share today. Please don't forget to like the video, share the video, subscribe, because all those things help out to where it'll make the algorithm show this video to more people. So please, I ask you to please do that so this channel can grow a lot more and more people can get this vital information. What I'm going to start off with today is going to be, like I have with the previous videos, is the number of coronavirus infected and dead, including the United States. The official numbers for the coronavirus is 94,304 infected with 3,221 dead. In South Korea, there's 5,621 infected. Italy, 2,502. Japan, 326. Iran, 2,922. And the United States, 127 with 10 dead. And of course, those numbers in the United States have also increased a lot just in the past few days, where they have actually started to test people. Like I had mentioned in the previous videos, you know when they're gonna start telling us, or you know when they're gonna realize that we have infections here, is when they actually start testing people. So if you have followed this channel, or at least the whole coronavirus any length of time, especially from when it first started, I'm sure you saw the video. So people just walking on the street and then suddenly falling over, right? Over there in Wuhan and China and other places. But it looks like that might have started here in New York, here in the United States, in New York. Here's the first headline. Viral scare. Shocking moment. Men, 25, wearing coronavirus face mask is found passed out on packed New York's sidewalk. This from thesun.com. Here's that video. All right, so you saw it, right? So there's a few things I want to point out from this video. You see that there's this guy just laying there, right? And he has the face mask. He's just laying there. But all the people around him, for one, are not wearing masks. Two, they're way too close to him, because I have shared information that people, or the CDC has said, or other medical departments in the other countries have said that you can be contagious after 6 feet away. So if this guy does have the coronavirus, all those people around him more than likely got infected too. It depends if that guy was coughing or whatever. We don't know, because all we see in the video is him already laying down. And another thing I want to point out is that the medics that came and helped them out and the police that were there, they also are not wearing any kind of mask. So it could be possible that they have been infected as well. And it's kind of worrisome that something like that happens and people don't think, maybe I should, be wondering what's going on here. I should be getting away from here, because obviously something is wrong, especially with the virus being so contagious 6 feet away. And the next video I'm going to show you is from Daily Star, and the headline reads, "Coronavirus patient gives chilling account of what killer disease feels like." Here's that video.
Listen to Julie. She contracted coronavirus in Singapore, where there have been more than 100 cases. And she's been talking to the BBC's Karishma Vaswani.
On the 3rd of February, I had a fever, 38.2, 38.5. And I took 2 Panadol. I was well enough. I just felt a little bit tired. I remember sleeping the whole day. And then after that, the fever went. And for the rest of the week, I was well. I didn't have anything, not even a sniffle or cough. However, on the 7th February, really early in the morning, like 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and the room was spinning. Next day, on the 8th of February, I got a call 8:30 in the morning from the doctor and tell me, "I'm sorry to tell you that you've contracted the virus." It felt my lungs were going in overdrive. They were really making an effort. It's not like normal days, right? When we're not even conscious of how we breathe. It was just so laborious trying to get from my bed to the bathroom, which was like, 5 meters away, just walking to the bathroom. And it was just challenging to get there. And then everything just went into slow motion.
All right, so you heard her, right? So she said that she just had a fever. She took some medicine. Then the fever left her. She was feeling okay. And then suddenly, in the middle of the night, she woke up and the room was spinning. And then later that day, she got the call from the doctor, said that she had the virus. And she's in Singapore. Now, imagine all the places that she might have gone that whole week when she started feeling okay. And she's contagious. So she could have infected a lot of people if she went to the local grocery store or whatever, because we know that a lot of people that have been panicking, they go to the store, they get their stuff and they leave. But it could also be that somebody infected went and got stuff too. And now that they came home, they have their stuff, but all the other people might have gotten sick as well. So that's something you got to think about. If you haven't gotten out and gotten your supplies, then you need to go ahead and do so. And where I live in northern Alabama, all right? And our state so far doesn't have any cases or anything like that. There's no suspicion of anybody being sick. Of course, we're taking the proper precautions, but at my local Sam's and the local Walmart, they're not letting people buy a lot of water anymore. Everybody has only a limit of 5 cases per person or per member in Sam's Club. So if you were thinking that you were gonna get a whole bunch all at once like they did in New York and California, then you should really think about it twice, because they're only giving 5 per member. Now, they did not specify if it was a day, every so often. They didn't say that. They didn't specify. They just said that all they knew is that from the home office, they said that they could only give 5, or there was a limit of 5 cases per member. So if you're waiting for the last minute, like they have in New York and in California, to buy 20 cases of water, you're going to be disappointed when you get there and they only let you get 5. So if you have not got, and the hand sanitizer is completely gone. You can't find it anywhere. I went out and see what else, you could find, and all the cleaning supplies are almost wiped out. And let me remind you, in the state of Alabama, we haven't had any confirmed cases. So if you're waiting for the last minute, I suggest you go ahead and go and buy the stuff you need. And I say that because of this next headline. Coronavirus confusion. Miami woman allegedly denied proper testing. This from miami.sbslocal.com. And here's that video of that news piece.
While there are no confirmed cases of coronavirus in Broward or Miami-Dade, one local woman says she was told by her doctors she likely has the virus but has not been able to get the testing done to confirm it.
She spoke with CBS 4 investigator Jim DeFede about what she experienced when she sought treatment. It's a CBS 4 News exclusive.
Walking into the Jackson Memorial ER Friday afternoon, Marie had one question on her mind. Did she have the coronavirus?
I started feeling a little bit sick leaving Italy on Wednesday morning. I was having a rather severe sore throat and a headache and mild cough, and the cough progressed over the next couple of days.
She had spent a week in northern Italy, just as the virus was spreading across that region.
There was definitely a sense of doom and dread everywhere.
Afraid of being trapped in Italy and anxious to return home, she boarded a flight to Madrid and then on to Miami, where she landed at MIA around 9 o'clock Wednesday evening.
There were no screenings at Madrid, and there was no screening when I arrived in Miami.
She stayed home from work on Thursday, but by Friday, her husband and personal physician told her she should go to Jackson to see if she had the coronavirus.
And they immediately admitted me. Very quickly, I was placed in a room, and they started diagnostic testing. Everybody who was coming into the room was very well protected with goggles and all the necessary, protective gear. My preliminary tests came back rather alarming because I tested positively for 2 strains of the previous coronavirus.
The current version of the coronavirus is known as COVID-19. Marie, whose name we've changed to protect her privacy, provided the results of her medical test performed at Jackson, showing she tested positive for earlier strains, coronavirus 229E and NL63.
The doctor himself told me that, he thinks that the results of my test mean that I most likely have the COVID-19. But that the Department of Health did not want to pursue it further. It was either the Department of Health or the CDC that decided not to further pursue the inquiry. But I was basically told it is most likely that I have this virus and that I should self-quarantine.
And when you hear that, how do you react to that?
Obviously, I would have liked to know if I, in fact, have this virus.
She said her doctor at Jackson was angry and annoyed he couldn't get her samples tested.
The doctor said that there was basically nothing he could do.
Instead, she was sent home and told to stay in her house for 14 days.
I was given masks. I was asked to self-quarantine, and that was pretty much it.
Dr. Eileen Marty is a world-renowned infectious disease specialist teaching at FIU. She did not see Marie as a patient, but given Marie's travel to Italy, her symptoms, and the test results she reviewed, she agrees with Jackson's diagnosis.
She probably does have COVID-19. The fact that we're not testing unless somebody is severe or critical is basically a problem because we're missing 80% of cases.
If we're not doing the testing, then we really can't say the extent to which COVID-19, the coronavirus, is here in our community, can we?
No, if we don't test, we can't, absolutely, you can't tell.
Marty said she understood the frustration of Jackson officials.
I also would have been angry and annoyed, in fact, even furious, because it doesn't allow me to treat my patient in the ideal way. And one of the things that every patient wants to know is, what is wrong with me?
I think it's naive to think that we are not going to see any cases here, that we have this contained. I mean, there are hundreds of people pouring in every day from all over the world. We need to have the proper testing measures available.
Marie says her husband is now sick.
But we're both doing okay. He's staying home with me, so we've stocked up on supplies. so I'm not so worried. We're both monitoring symptoms, and we're doing okay.
Wow. Hard to believe. It sounds like the doctors at Jackson wanted to do the right thing. They simply couldn't. The reason is, why not?
Well, the question, that is, I think you're absolutely right. If we accept what Marie says with regard to her doctors, then there is clearly some sort of miscommunication between the doctors and the protocol that Jackson believes it's under, and the Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta and the State Department of Health. Now, I spoke to Jackson, and they wouldn't comment on this woman's case specifically, citing privacy concerns, but they did say they follow the procedures and rules as set out by the Florida Department of Health and the CDC. I talked today to a senior official within the DeSantis administration, the Deputy Secretary for the Department of Health in the state of Florida. Again, she didn't want to get into specifics with this woman's case, but she said that no, based on the general idea that this woman came from Italy, was presenting signs, there was no reason why the State Department of Health shouldn't have done testing. And they said, going forward, if you believe that you're liable for the coronavirus, you don't necessarily have to go to the hospital. Contact the County Department of Health, the State Department of Health, and they will arrange for a place for you to go to be tested, because that's the problem right now. We're not testing. This notion that there is no coronavirus in South Florida, I think, is largely a myth. Until we start doing more widespread testing, we won't know the extent of the problem here.
Right, if you're not testing, you're not going to find out. Right.
Nope.
Jim, thanks a lot.
All right, so you heard it, right? So now I want to kind of break down that video into this very, very important section that I have right here. The doctor said she probably does have COVID-19. The fact that we are not testing unless somebody is severe or critical is basically a problem, because we are missing 80% of cases. Just right there should really blow your mind. If that's not just in Florida, that could be in any other state as well. All right, why they're not testing until they're severe or critical? I mean, severe or critical, that means you're about to die. So there's no way of they catching it early because they're not testing anybody. And, help you out or anything like that. And quarantine you. That's the most important thing here. If they were to catch it early and say, you know what, you can't go anywhere, you got to be quarantined for the next 14 days, which really should be a month, and they're just letting you out and about, you're going to get other people sick. Now, here's the rest of it. The woman now under self-quarantine, said, I think it's naive to think that we are not going to see any cases here that we have this contained. Of course, you're out and about. I mean, there are hundreds of people pouring in every day from all over the world. We need to have proper testing measures available. And she knows her husband is now sick. But here's the kicker, and you'll see if you catch it before I say it. We're both doing okay, she said. He's staying at home with me, so we're stocked up on supplies. So, I'm not so worried. We're both monitoring symptoms and we're doing okay. If you didn't catch it, this is the part that is really driving me crazy. She said, we're both doing okay. He's staying on with me, so we've stocked up on supplies. They told her to stay quarantined, right? And her husband is now sick. But how else is she gonna stock up if she didn't go out and she didn't go to the store and buy the stuff she needed to stock up with? So all those people where she lives more than likely got sick with the coronavirus if she does in fact have it. And they believe she has it. They just didn't want to pursue it any further. Why? No idea. But the point is that if they deliberately did this and then they just send them home and tell them to self-quarantine, all right, then it's just an honor system. And then she just went to the store to stock up on supplies that she's probably going to need. But she also all the surfaces that she's touched, all that coughing she's been doing, the buggy that she grabbed, if it's not wiped clean, all the stuff is going to live there for at least 9 days. And now all the people not all the people, but the people that are there or that she was around at least 6 feet away, while she was coughing and sneezing and stuff, more than likely they just got infected with the coronavirus. So if you heard that in your local news, I suggest you go get tested as well. But who knows? They might not even test you for real. So now that we said that, here's a ridiculous headline from the DOD. DOD official admits COVID-19 likely, just take off likely, to be a pandemic within the next 30 days. This from Zero Hedge. Arguably, it's already a pandemic since it has reached every continent except Antarctica. Many people in the United States are paying attention and ratcheting up their preparedness for possible quarantine and other measures. The National Center for Medical Intelligence, the NCMI, raised the risk of pandemic warning from WatchCon 2 to WatchCon 1. According to the document obtained by Newsweek, WatchCon 2 is used in the event of a probable crisis, and WatchCon 1 means that crisis is imminent. Yeah, of course, if they were just to test people, they would know that already. This goes hand in hand with reports that the military began executing plans to prepare for a potential pandemic 2 weeks ago. As well, this could be the reason behind President Trump's deal with the Taliban. It could be an effort to get soldiers out of the area where transmission could be widespread. All right. Or maybe that's the reason why the Trump administration and everybody else keeps saying not to worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's not going to be a pandemic, because they're giving the military more time to finish getting prepared. Because if they suddenly call it a pandemic, then a whole bunch of stuff gets put into place. For example, that thing that we've talked about here, the law that they have in place, that when they call it a pandemic, a certain set of rules have to kick in, and that pretty much give dictatorial power to all the governors and states and all that stuff. So pretty much would be medical martial law, which, as they're probably letting us know, it could be here within the next 30 days, probably less, because the number of cases have skyrocketed, as you have seen, and you have kept up with them too. And of course, it's going to be a pandemic, especially after what happened with the CDC in San Antonio. San Antonio declares emergency after CDC released a woman infected with coronavirus, and they said that it was totally unacceptable. This is for CNBC.com. The Center of Disaster Control and Prevention released a woman from quarantine in Texas who tested positive for the new coronavirus, San Antonio officials said on Monday. The woman was among the 91 Americans evacuated from Wuhan and placed in federal 14-day quarantine at Joint Base San Antonio, Lakeland. After the woman was released, she visited the North Star Mall for 2 whole hours, where she browsed the stores and ate at the food court, according to Dr. Anita Kurian, Assistant Director of Communicable Disease at San Antonio Metropolitan Health District. Another there you go. Another case where the person is sick and they're out and about, especially in the mall. Now, if reading this does not make you think, gee, I shouldn't be going anywhere anymore, like the mall, the movies, the bowling alley, the bar, anywhere like that, then you really need to reconsider, because all these people have been out and about, touching stuff, sneezing everywhere, coughing, and now they're going to get other people sick too. And that's how it's going to make, I mean, it's already a pandemic, but that's how they're going to finally say in the United States it's a pandemic, because all these cases are going to explode. And like I shared in the previous video, the FDA guy said that they're more than likely lower thousands, but more than likely it's higher, you know, in the thousands, probably close to 10,000. I mean, the virus had gone, you know, undetected or untested for 6 weeks in Washington State. Same thing in California, now Florida, now San Antonio, Texas. I mean, where else? New York. They have so many people. I mean, come on. Now, in other previous videos, this is why it's important for you to watch the videos, because I share important information. And it's important for you to stay all the way to the end, because you never know what I'm going to be talking about. But I have said in the other videos that now that this is election year, that it's going to be more than likely people who get infected with coronavirus, they're going to want to go to a Trump rally and get people infected on purpose. All right, it could be one, it could be multiple. Just one will do a great deal of damage. And here's the headline for that one. And I called it, "If I do get coronavirus, I'm attending every MAGA rally I can." Denver councilwoman quotes solidarity to tweet. This from KDVR.com. So you heard that headline right. And I posted it on Facebook. So if you see this video and you haven't been on Facebook, I suggest you go up there, because I post a lot of articles that I could possibly ever get here on the podcast. So here's what the headline, what the article says. Denver Councilwoman Candy Cidebecca, I know I killed your last name, I'm sorry, is getting major blowback over a controversial tweet sent on Friday. The councilwoman quoted a tweet that said, "For the record, if I do get the coronavirus, I'm attending every MAGA rally I can." Baca responded and quoted the tweet saying, "Solidarity, yes." You know, YAAAS. Councilwoman made a sarcastic tweet on Twitter to call attention to the Trump administration downplaying the coronavirus outbreak as a hoax, no more dangerous than the common flu, rather than conservative outlet making a 4-day all-tweet focus on a Super Tuesday. They should focus their energy on demanding a competent federal response to this public health crisis instead. The Colorado Republican Party released the following statement in response to Baca's tweet. Here's a quote. Councilwoman praising a social media post calling for Trump supporters to be infected with the coronavirus is simply disgusting. There can be no room in our politics for wishing harm on Americans who have different political beliefs. Democrats in Colorado and across the country need to condemn this evil statement. In light of these comments, the Colorado Republican Party is calling on the councilwoman to resign immediately. And let's just say, just for fun, that she was actually just, being sarcastic. We're all sarcastic all the time. That's nothing new. But the point is that if she thought about it that way, there's a whole bunch of other people who thought about the same. Now, you don't think that there's going to be people who might do it on purpose and go infect other people on purpose just because they don't like them? Like I stated before, the answer is probably yes. Now, let's shift things here just a bit and go with how the WHO and CDC that keep saying, don't worry about it, don't worry about it. Now they're worrying about it because all the medical supplies are depleting very quickly. Here's the headline. WHO officials have urged, World Health Organization officials make an urgent plea for medical gear. Supplies are rapidly depleting. This from CNBC CNBC.com. The WHO estimated that each month, 89 million medical masks, 76 million examination gloves, and 1.6 million goggles will be required for the COVID-19 response. It is said manufacturers need to increase personal protective gear supplies by 40% to meet these demands for the medical community. This is a unique virus with unique features. This virus is not influenza, Tedros said. We are in uncharted territory. And not only that, they have found that there's 2 strains of it. One that is less potent and one that is very potent. I think the less potent is S and the more potent is L, which, gives all the other. The S gives you the mild, not so bad symptoms. The L is the one that pretty much kills people. And I want to finish up with this. Oh, but before I go there, just look how many they say they need. It's in the millions, all right? So if they needed this so bad, because of course they have so many other medical facilities, hospitals, yada, yada. How much more do you need it if they need this many? How much more do you need to be prepared for something like that when it suddenly breaks out like this one has, all right? This is the event that has finally, crap has hit the fan. You can classify that as crap has hit the fan. It's just been moving throughout the world and is now coming, or is here in the United States. But we're gonna see the ramifications of it here, and we're gonna feel it personally. The United States, which people say that nothing ever happens, nothing major, like hunger or drought and stuff like that, like it happens in the Middle East or any other country. Now people are gonna experience it here more than likely, especially with all the food shortages that we already have and all the other problems that we are going to get because China has not been producing anything. They're still not producing anything. They still have not gone to work. And Wuhan has been under quarantine for more than 30 days. All right, I think they're going on 40 days now, if not 50. Now, you see why we say here in Man Survival that you need food and water for more than 1 day? For more than 30 days. That's why you need at least 6 months to a year to start off. But ideally, you want 2 years or more. Because it's not only that, other things can happen too, which is something I'm going to talk in the next video. But I want to finish up with this. All of the sudden, people all over America are preparing like crazy. This from the economiccollapseblog.com. But people, let me point out, this article is a great article. You can go and read it. It's pretty lengthy, and it explains a lot. I'm not saying anything about the article. The article is wonderful. What I want to point out, though, is that people are not prepping. They're just hoarding. They're just getting ready for what's happening right now. And let's say suddenly, like today, it stopped. Like somebody waved the magic wand and poof, coronavirus is suddenly gone and nobody's sick anymore. Then all those people that hoarded in New York and California, they will go back to normal life. They will forget all about it, and then life will go on. Prepping is more than just hoarding things when crap hits the fan. It's a lifestyle that you need to start doing, because it can't just be this. Let's say a nuclear war. All right, with the coronavirus, we've had a whole month heads up. All right, and people are just now preparing. But the point is that, let's say it was war. If we go to war with China or Russia, they're not gonna let us know they're gonna send a nuke. Before you know it, there's a city or two light up. What are you gonna do then? Because then the production will stop, and those shelves will not be restocked. Now, it's not for a long time, and then we'll be in war, which is the next podcast that I'm doing. Is that now we're closer to World War III than we had, or nuclear war, more than we had back in the 60s with the past crisis. So again, I hope you take this to heart and it becomes a lifestyle, not just a moment. It's just something temporary that you only get a few things stocked up in your home because, they told you the coronavirus is here now. I hope it's a lifestyle, because your survival will depend on it. Your grandkids' survival will depend on it. Your kids' survival will depend on it. Your family's survival will depend on it. And not only that, this country's survival will depend on it. But anyways, thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for staying all the way to the end. we're soon, you know, when things start to slow down a bit, we're gonna celebrate the that we have 100 likes on Facebook, and we're gonna be sending a few things for 5 people. So just, you know, keep watching the videos, and then we'll make the announcement at the end of the video. That way you can sign up for it, so we can pick one of you guys to see who gets what. But anyways, please like this video, please share, please comment, please let everybody know, because as you see, this information is very important, especially from the angle of survival that I'm bringing it to you from. All right, because not very many people are doing so. But again, you still have time to prepare, but that window is closing very, very quickly. Like I said, they're only letting 5 people, they're only letting 1 person get 5 cases of water and no more. If you need more than that, you're going to be in a very bad place. But anyways, please like the video, please share it, please subscribe. And like we say here in Man-Made Survival, always ready.
The Man-Made Survival Show.